Good afternoon, everybody. Kristine Varkony here in the NBC4i Streaming Center, joined by Lieutenant Governor Jon Husted and Second Lady Tina Husted. And we are here to discuss National Foster Care Month, which is this month of May. And I know you guys are both really passionate about that. First of all, thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. And if you could just jump in and tell us why you're so passionate about this.
Well, there are a variety of reasons. I guess first of all, started out life in a foster home. I lived there for a couple months before I was adopted, and just always felt grateful for that. And as we both, got older, had our own kids, and reflected more on just the challenges that so many kids face, we got a little more involved in issues surrounding all children, but particularly foster children. Tina is started something called the Open Table, which I'll have her talk about, and is involved with CASA, which is helping be an advocate for kids. And Governor DeWine and I have really tried to push more services to kids that are struggling. And we just really think that this is a group of children, young people that, got a tough draw in life and need help, and anything we can do to raise awareness and support efforts to support children growing up in foster care, we want to do it.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about your Open Table efforts?
Sure. As Jon said, we're very passionate about this, and my hometown of Bucyrus, I grew up next to a family, Mr. and Mrs. Corey. They had 4 of their own children, but during those years we lived next to them, they had over 12 different foster kids in and out of their homes. And they made a tremendous impact on those kids' lives. And I saw that, witnessed that daily. And I just always had a big heart for those kids and what Mr. Corey did to help those kids in need. And it planted a seed in my heart. And so the Open Table ministry that was founded in Arizona, I learned about through Jon, actually, on a trip that he had been in Cleveland, and he had met a woman by the name of Amber who had started multiple tables there. And essentially the mission is to use social capital, each of us have it, to help someone who is in need. And there are multiple populations the Open Table serves, but in particular, aged out foster youth is a group that Amber was focusing on, and then we brought it to Columbus to also focus on. And so basically, a table consists of 6 to 8 people who kind of sit on a chair that helps the foster youth with housing, finance, education, medical, all those basic needs that we get in our own homes and through our parents, those kids may not have. And so the table basically spends, an hour or 2 a week on putting together a plan to serve the aged out foster youth and help them basically be essentially a family of support. It's a 1-year process, but it's a lifetime relationship.
Yeah. Can you explain a little bit more about what aged out means? I guess I'm assuming over 18 whenever you're no longer in the program. But as we know, you don't turn 18 and all of a sudden you're an adult. I mean, how many of us are still calling our moms up until we're 25 years old asking, this and that? So can you kind of explain a little bit more about what, this table does for those kids?
So, I learned a lot through serving on a table, and aged out can be anywhere between 18 and 21, but many times kids leave because they aren't in a good situation and they don't have the support that they need. And so it can be anywhere between that 18 and 21 age range. But they go out because they don't feel supported in the particular situation they may be in. So once they have kind of left wherever they are, they sometimes find themselves homeless. We work with them on trying to get housing, get them in a safe place. Of course, Star House, the homeless drop-in shelter, is a great resource. And then there's a program through the state called Bridges where a lot of kids can use those services. So we just try to help them and guide them through those steps to get them in a good place especially from the standpoint of being able to take care of themselves from a monetary and earnings potential, getting the correct education, and or just helping them find a job, and opening doors that they may not know were there.
Yeah.
Can I oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask you if you could touch on bridges a little bit.
Yeah. Well, as Tina articulated, everybody's story is unique. You can find yourself in a variety of situations. Most young people who are in foster care aren't in the same place. They bounce around. They have all kinds of issues with trust and stability in their lives. And what we're trying to provide is more stability, some trust, some places that you can count on. One of the programs that we have in Ohio is the Bridges to Success program. And what that's there for is to help those students, because think about what time we are. It's graduation time, right? Just think how many students are graduating that don't have a plan, who bounced around foster care, and they don't really know what's going to happen now that they're 18. And this is a way to help them. So if they enroll in education, or if they get some work, get a full-time job or a part-time job, then they can be eligible for housing, support for things like transportation and clothes and so forth, to help give them that launching pad between the ages of 18 and 21, so that they have that stability, so that there is something they can trust, and that they can begin to build the foundation of a life. I met a young man yesterday. It's always great to see the real life examples, but this young man had been in 14 different foster situations.
Breaks your heart.
Yeah, and he graduated from high school with a pre-apprenticeship in construction, and he now has a job starting out at $16 an hour, and then will quickly move up to $20 an hour with health benefits and vacation and 401k and all of the good things that we want to see for young people in their work. But he'll also receive, through the Bridges program, the access to an apartment and to a car and to clothes and the things that he needs to start life. And that's something that we can all give through the work that we do in government, through the work that we do through volunteership and charities, and give them the opportunity to have that stable foundation so they can launch their version of the American dream. And it's possible. This is not a lost cause. This is these young people with the right kind of support can thrive and flourish and have productive, meaningful lives and hope. And that's what we hope during this month to talk about, is how we can all build that support system and contribute in our own ways, because we all have gifts. We all have ways that we can contribute to improving the quality of life for these children that are in foster care and those who are aging out.
Obviously, you're talking to the people in Ohio right now, a large audience of people who potentially might want to become foster parents themselves. I guess, what are some ways that they can do that, that the state helps with, and I guess why would you encourage them to do so?
Yeah, well, they can work through their local children's services or other local agencies, adoptions services, things like that, to adopt or to become foster parents. And they're all in need. As an adoptee, I always have to put a plug in for adoption too. There are a lot of children out there who just want a family. They just want a place where people love them and they can feel secure and safe. And there are thousands of kids in need right now, with the scourge of the drug epidemics that have been plaguing our country for the last decade or so. Many children are finding themselves in situations with parents who can't take care of themselves, let alone their children, no stable family life, and foster parents can step in and provide that stability. And so if that's where your heart carries you and you feel like you have the capacity to do that, then think about becoming a foster parent. Or if you don't, think about how you can contribute, donate to agencies that support these children, or give of your time in some way to help create that stability in their lives.
Yeah, I was just thinking earlier when Jon was speaking is, if there's just one person that a kid can go to that they know they can depend on, that is tremendous. And it made me think a lot about the CASA work that we do. CASA is Court Appointed Special Advocates. It's an organization. It's a nationwide organization. We have a Ohio chapter, and then it's in 58 counties. Each county has their own chapter. And what court-appointed special advocates do, and if you aren't a person that feels like you can do the full-time job of a foster parent or adopting someone, you could be a guardian ad litem. You can go through the training through CASA and be a CASA. And what you would do with that is you would get to know a child who's going through the court system. Court-appointed special advocates typically helps kids who are abused and or neglected that are going through the court system. And you could be that one person to get to know a child in their specific situation. So when they have their day in court, you can be their advocate to the judge, because oftentimes these kids don't have anybody reliable to advise the judge as to where the safest place for the child is. So it's another great opportunity for people if you really do want to get involved, and we're always looking for new volunteers. It's about a 40-hour training program, but it's well worth it. And I know many CASAs who, have just changed kids' lives through that work.
Yeah, and think about this, is that child in that situation, if they're getting a CASA, it's because they don't have anybody else in their life to advocate for them, who really knows them, who is taking the time to know them. And if you're a young child, you can't advocate for yourself in a court system. Your life is chaotic enough as it is. It's scary. You don't know what your choices are, and to have an adult who's there looking out for you is a really big deal for these kids.
Would love to get more information so we can make sure we link everything you guys are talking about in the story below. So we'll make sure we do that. Anything else that you guys would like to add just to talk about National Foster Care Month? I know we've done stories with Big Brothers Big Sisters and the Dave Thomas Foundation this month, so we're just really making sure we get the word out there, and we appreciate you guys coming and talking about it as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, there's some way that you can contribute to this. There's some small, maybe you're called to become a full-fledged adoptive parent or a foster parent, or you don't have that time, you could become a CASA. There are many ways through faith-based organizations and others that you can be that light for somebody. Or maybe it's just a kid you already know. Yeah. Maybe there's a child out there whose mom or dad are struggling and going through a tough time, and you can just be that relief for a few hours a week to give them, to share your skill. Maybe you give them piano lessons or art lessons, or you play catch with them, or something that helps them have somebody in their lives that they can trust and can help them get through a difficult time. And when you do that, you will change a life.
I think it's a really good message to end on. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to watch the entire interview, if you may have missed out, joined us late, I'll be sure to clip it and put it on NBC4i.com. We'll also have segments in our 4:30 broadcast as well. And again, I'll be sure to place all of those links to the resources. If you would like to get involved, whether it be in CASA or foster care or foster adoption, I'll place those in the story down below. We will see you next time. Bye.